going on, y'all? Apparently, there's a lot of people that's upset as a part of the alphabet community because there was like this pride crosswalk that was put down and now it got removed. I don't know why they so mad. It's a crosswalk, right? Is that like the only street you was allowed to walk on or something? No. Yeah, you don't gotta rainbow everything up. Like, isn't it enough rainbows at all times, everywhere, especially during a certain month? I know when Rainbow Month is coming more than I know when Black History Month is coming. And to be fair, I'm not really a holiday kind of guy. I don't really give a damn about holidays. But still, it's like, relax. But let's check out what this, I guess, did to a bunch of people and has them upset. So let's look at it through Black conservative perspective, right? I really rock with his channel. Great content creator. Let's see what's going down. Once I get the visuals up and working. All right. Now I can't get the audio.
Standard crosswalk. In a significant move affecting urban aesthetics, the Florida Department of Transportation has issued a directive requiring local governments, including Sarasota, to remove non-standard crosswalk and sidewalk paintings. This order, which came into effect on June 30th, 2025, emphasizes that all traffic control devices and pavement markings must adhere strictly to state design manuals. Sarasota officials have already identified several artistic installations that may no longer comply, including distinctive crosswalk art on Coconut Avenue, Pineapple Avenue, and 2nd Street. Notably, this includes the Rainbow Crosswalk at Coconut Avenue and 2nd Street, which serves as a vibrant symbol of LGBTQ+ pride and inclusivity.
If you guess, or if I had to guess, what streets that those got put on, and you gave me 10 guesses, I swear Pineapple Avenue or Coconut Avenue would have been one of my guesses. I promise you that would have been one. That's crazy.
Meanwhile,
hey everyone, it's Representative Ana Villascamani, and I'm here right now at the Pulse Rainbow Crosswalk that FDOT thought was appropriate to sneak into our community in the middle of the night and to totally erase.
It's not a rainbow crosswalk anymore, first of all. Second, it has to be everywhere. You got it like on you as I guess a little pendant. And now you're saying they snuck in. They snuck. What was you gonna do if you saw them doing it? They snuck in. My sneak.
I think it's so important to remember that FDOT decided, that Governor DeSantis decided, out of all the crosswalks to eliminate, to do this one, which is right outside Pulse nightclub, where 49 mostly LGBT+ people were murdered in 2016. This crosswalk was never about politics for us. It was about love, safety. It was about creating a spark of joy for folks who come by. It's about finding power in pain. They're the ones who made it political today. And they're the ones who decided it was a...
Yeah, first of all, unfortunate as hell. Super unfortunate. That happens at like a bunch of these clubs, bro. It's nasty work, right? And I'm talking about clubs in general, not just for certain people, right? I don't think that the crosswalk needed to be there for you to pay homage, I guess, or I don't know.
Appropriate to erase.
And also, just to be clear, I have no hate or disdain for the alphabet community.
Entire community here in Orlando.
hey everyone, this is State Senator Carlos Guillermo Smith. I'm near downtown Orlando, and we have just discovered that the Florida Department of Transportation in the middle of the night has ripped the rainbow colors off of the city sidewalk outside of the Pulse nightclub, where 49 people were murdered in cold blood by hatred. This rainbow crosswalk was placed here by
Using that just to have a rainbow on a crosswalk is disgusting. Like, stop using these people. Nigga, they've been through enough. You'd be using them like that, like some ploy, a weapon, you to get your political opinions off. That's not right.
our community with approval from the state.
Monday.com is the best AI for work. And here
Funnies, damn. Ads. I won't have ads one of these days, guys. One of these days.
So we got to talk about a story out in Florida involving liberals who are upset. They're outraging, protesting over the state government, aka Republicans, requiring them to remove rainbow painted crosswalks, aka pride crosswalks.
Yeah, they was wild with that one.
Their
That's
cities,
crazy.
the liberal cities that have these crosswalks will lose funding. Okay, these warnings have come from the Department of Transportation out in Florida, and these people are upset and they're boohoo, whining, crying foul over the fact that state is saying no more pride crosswalks. So without further ado, let's get into it.
New at 6, cities across South Florida are dealing with a new law to paint over crosswalks painted in pride colors. Delray Beach has a commission meeting tonight to decide how to move forward on this. The state sent a letter demanding the city remove its rainbow mural, or FDOT will do it for them. Key West received a similar letter. As CBS News Miami's Ted Scouten reports, cities could lose state funding if they don't comply with the crosswalk crackdown.
This is the kind of street art that we're talking about, like the pride flag here on the road on Fort Lauderdale Beach. It's a bit beat up right now because of an ongoing construction project. What the state is saying is that any street art that has political, ideological, or social messages will not be allowed. Already, some South Florida cities are getting notice from the state.
Yeah, so I got a quick question about this, right? Because this pride flag memorial, clearly you can see here, there are marks on it. Okay, there's all types of, stuff on it. Now, if you happen to drive a car, right, and you leave skid marks on this pride flag, you can be charged, right? You can be fined, okay? But for whatever reason, this is totally okay. Nobody has anything to say about the fact that, you have construction being done and you have all this dirt and stuff on the flag. It just kind of shows you how, people complaining when cars leave skid marks on these displays. It just tells you how it's just performative, right? It's just performative outrage because nobody gives a damn about this.
Notice from the state. Key West Rainbow Crosswalk got the attention of the state. Now they got a letter from the Florida Department of Transportation saying it's got to go by September 3rd. The letter says it's in violation of FDOT's traffic control device standards. Florida statute requires removal of these pavement markings immediately. It goes on to say, if the pavement markings are not removed by September 3rd, the Florida Department of Transportation will remove them by any appropriate method necessary without further notice. Any additional violations by the City of Key West shall be cause for the immediate withholding of state funds. And in Fort Lauderdale,
we understand that the Florida Department of Transportation is going to send us a communication in which they're questioning all the street designs that we've created here in our city.
Fort Lauderdale Mayor Dean Trantalis said street art, like the pride colors on Fort Lauderdale Beach, are actually a safety measure.
It had been determined that if we brighten up a certain intersection, it would bring people's attention to the fact that they are entering an intersection.
It's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. In fact, the exact opposite is true. I feel like it's a safety hazard because at the very least, when you're painting the road with political messages, like, for example, a pride flag or BLM flag or whatever, it serves as a distraction, right? It's a distraction from paying attention to the road, right? And what's in front of you. Okay, if you're paying attention to the...
Yeah, it's like you putting up an ad. That's crazy.
Pride flag memorial, then again, you aren't paying attention to the road, okay? And the designs that the state has for these markings on the road, they have these designs for a reason, okay, for safety reasons. Because again, you don't want them to necessarily be distractions, but you also want them to clearly show what is and what's not allowed on the road while you're driving, how you're supposed to drive, where you're supposed to drive. Yeah, they're designed the way they're designed for a reason, okay? And erasing them and painting over them with pride flags and BLM or whatever, left-wing politics, yeah, it's just a distraction. It's a safety hazard. That is the real safety hazard.
Help!
I was gonna say before that popped up. I agree, 100%. Yeah, it seems so unnecessary. Right? Like, and I don't understand why people would think that it is necessary. It's pretty odd to me.
We asked Wilton Manors about the Rainbow Bridge going into the city. They told us the pride colors are on the side, not on the road, and they have not gotten a letter. Miami Beach hasn't gotten one either. Back in Fort Lauderdale, if you get a letter, what's going to happen?
We'll have to wait to see what the letter says.
The city of Key West already has a court date set for September 3rd, but the court is saying that will not allow for any request for a waiver. On Fort Lauderdale Beach, Ted Scout.
Yeah, see that you heard. Now, let's go out to Orlando, where people are currently boohoo-ing and crying, right? They're outraging, protesting over the fact that the state is not playing around. They actually came through overnight and erased one of the rainbow crosswalks. So let's get into it.
Right now, there's a crowd of people growing near the Pulse nightclub site in Orlando, upset about this, the rainbow crosswalk being painted over. But the governor is doubling down on the state's decision to remove it. Let's get out to Fox 35's Hannah McKenzie. She is joining us live outside the Pulse Memorial tonight. So, Hannah, at one point, people actually colored that sidewalk back in.
Yeah, Luann, some fast-working folks brought out the chalk and worked to restore that rainbow. We did have a downpour here in Orlando, though, and as you can see, that chalk has...
Oh, man. God was like, no. Y'all not learning. Bring the rain. They not learning. Nigga, what's wrong with you?
Since washed away, but now a large group of folks have gathered here on the side of Orange Avenue, and they have signs.
They say now you're protesting the rain.
Banners, they have flags. They are hoping their presence here is going to leave a much long-lasting impact, more than any chalk could do.
Yo, white liberals have jobs, right? Like, do old white liberals have jobs? Because it seems as if they're the ones that are out here protesting the most, right? When you talk about, or when you see some of these protests, right, these left-wing street, DC, wherever, right, it's mainly white liberals, right? Like, I'm trying to figure out, what do these people do for a day job? I mean, seriously, like, what do they do? Like, how do you have time to come out here in the middle of the day to protest over a crosswalk? But apparently, you're not supposed to point out when white liberals are protesting things, right? You're not supposed to point out when they're being agents of chaos, at least according to CNN.
I want to I'm going to play a little bit more of Stephen Miller, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Voices that you hear out there, those crazy communists, they have no roots. Demonstrators that you've seen out here in recent days, all of these elderly white hippies, they're not part of the city and never have been. And by the way, most of the citizens who live in Washington, D.C. are black. This is not a city that has had any safety for its black citizens for generations. And President Trump is the one who's fixing that.
There's a lot going on there, including that I'm not sure when last Stephen Miller talked to the black residents of Washington, D.C., but I also just have to note he's deriding elderly white hippies. Now, if someone said that, any one of us at the table, we would be accused of racism. Why is it okay for him to say that about Americans?
Because Trump set the standard. That's the bottom line. Trump set the standard about how you can talk about people and what you can say, and these people feel it's okay now to voice that.
But just to be clear,
these people,
he's calling American citizens who we can see them with our eyes ourselves, not elderly. They're DC. They're people from DC. He's calling them crazy, elderly, white hippies. He's said that multiple times. Why is that okay? But if someone else were to say that, you would be accused of being racist by Stephen Miller, frankly.
I'm not sure I'm following your line of thought here. I mean, the fact is some of them are elderly, and some of them are protesting. But I mean, I don't
because
some are hippies.
they're white, they're not allowed to protest.
No, it's not what he's saying at all.
Well, then why did he say that?
Why is he saying?
He's having a good time poking fun at the people. Who are
I guess I'm just saying. Listen, I'm old enough to remember.
I know what point they are making.
Okay,
right.
Yeah, and I'm old enough to remember when Jasmine Crockett went on CNN, okay, including Abby Phillips.
Yeah, I don't know what point she was trying to make in any way, shape, or form. That just seemed like just idiocracy. That sounded stupid is what it sounded like.
Yo, and went on a rant against white people, okay? And Abby Phillip, nor anybody at CNN had anything to say about it. They had no problems with Democrats constantly attack white people. But for whatever reason, Stephen Miller pointing out that the protesters in D.C. are white hippies, right? And not black people, aka not the people who actually live in D.C. who are the most affected by the crime, which is the point that he's making, is that, again, these are influent white liberals who aren't really affected by this, and they're protesting on behalf of people who are affected by the crime. Yeah, again, I've never seen Abby Phillip take issue with anything any of these black radicals have said on CNN about white people, but now all of a sudden, she got a problem.
I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt who I am? Is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert.
Why her outfit's so baggy? The baggy ass shirt. Walking around looking like a pirate. Well, they make me walk the plank.
There is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder.
Yeah. So I want you to understand, right? According to Abby Phillip, right, of CNN, a member of the Trump administration, Stephen Miller, an advisor, pointing out the fact that white liberal hippies who don't live in D.C. are protesting against making D.C. safer, right? Even though they don't live there, apparently is a problem, right? That's a big problem. That's a big issue. That's a race issue, right? You're not supposed to point that out. But for whatever reason, a sitting congresswoman who's black can talk about how white men are mediocre and how she's tired of white tears and how she, don't like white people, whatever, can openly spew these things on her network, right? On CNN, no issues, right? No problem. But, pointing out that, hey, a lot of these agents of chaos happen to be white liberals, apparently is an issue. Fascinating stuff.
Its vibrant hues restored. At least temporarily with chalk, after Orlando's iconic Rainbow Crosswalk outside the Pulse nightclub site was painted over in the dead of night.
I'm a little emotional.
Yasmin Flasterstein, hoping her 49 flowers can brighten the day for those upset over the crosswalk.
While they're feeling hurt, maybe they could feel some support too.
Calling the move callous, Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer writing, quote, hastily removing part of a memorial to what was at the time our nation's largest mass shooting without any supporting safety data or discussion is a cruel political act. Several weeks ago, the Trump administration sent a letter to all 50 governors telling them to keep intersections free of political messages, artwork, and any markings not directly tied to pedestrian or driver safety. FDOT also...
Yeah, I'm not sure what's so controversial about that, right? I think that any marking or displays on the road, on the highways, should be directly tied to...
Yeah, I want the government as far away, or any political thing as far away from me on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, get it off the road. Like, what's the issue?
Again, pedestrian safety, right? It should be directly tied to helping people navigate the roads and the streets. Okay, you shouldn't have any political messages on street signs or on roads or anything like that. I mean, could you imagine if we had a crosswalk that had Trump on it, right? A Trump crosswalk. Do you think these people would be okay with that, right?
Nah.
You think these people would be okay with putting a Trump crosswalk in their neighborhood, right? Go try to put a
I would find it hilarious.
Crosswalk in these people's neighborhoods. Yeah, these people be boohoo, whine, and cry.
That'd be funny as hell.
They'll say, "Oh, you can't do this, right? You need to leave your politics out," right? They be crying. They will understand it. But again, I get it. I understand. I certainly feel bad for the victims of what happened. at Pulse. Okay, but ultimately, the state says that, hey, we got to keep our crosswalks consistent with state designs for safety reasons, and ultimately, it is what it is. I mean, there are other ways that they can set up some type of memorial or something like that, but having rainbow crosswalks like that to me, I think is a little much, right? Again, because you have to have consistency on the roadways when it comes to signage, when it comes to painting, marking, things like that. So again, it really is a safety issue more so than anything.
Releasing this memo stating their 2025 design manual explicitly prohibits the application of pavement or surface art on travel lanes, paved shoulders, intersections, crosswalks, or sidewalks. State Senator Carlos Guillermo Smith says he saw this coming.
They're actively fighting with the city of Delray Beach, with Key West, with Sarasota. This is the crosswalk that they wanted to make an example out of. The crosswalk that was created to remember 49 people who were...
This nigga is crying right now. Get your ass back to the office and do some work. Nigga, help the city. Dude, this nigga is crazy.
Murdered here?
Governor...
Well, I mean, to be fair, they're asking the whole state to do this, right? So it's not just this one crosswalk, okay? We're talking about the whole state. So again, they're not just picking on one crosswalk or whatever. This is how Democrats are framing this. That's not how it works, right? They're literally going after all the crosswalks in the state.
Ron DeSantis replying to a video posted by Guillermo Smith, writing, "We will not allow our state roads to be commandeered for political purposes."
Human trafficking, the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It's not just a global...
That's crazy. That's a crazy ad to pop up on this type of video. What are you trying to say?
It's really hard for me to say I felt any other way but numb.
Darylise Torres survived the Pulse massacre and lost friends inside. She says if the city built a permanent memorial, painting over this crosswalk wouldn't be an issue.
While I do not condone it, I think it's horrible and despicable that the state is actually doing that. The fact that they're using polls is more to pursue a different agenda than what it actually should mean.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. The city has already poured millions and millions and millions of dollars into purchasing the nightclub due to the fact that the past ownership, the people who were supposed to be making the nightclub a memorial, had wasted millions and millions and millions of dollars that came in as donations to make it a memorial. That failed. The city took over the nightclub, and it looks like they have plans to make it a permanent memorial, right? So you're already going to get the memorial, right? The whole crosswalk there is not necessary if your whole argument is that, well, we want a memorial for the Pulse nightclub victims, which, hey, I have no problems. I have no issues with, right? If you want to have it, that's fine. But, it was attempted with private money, right? There was a private foundation that was set up in order to make that happen, and it failed due to financial mismanagement and corruption, right? It failed. So you have the city now taking over the club and creating a memorial. And I think that, now you have taxpayers footing the bill because the private foundation that was supposed to be doing it couldn't get it done, right? So, I mean, me, it's just one of those things where it's just like, sure, if you want to have your memorial, I have no issues with that. But you had an opportunity and it failed. And now the city has to take over and they're doing it. And you also want this crosswalk as well, too, right? So I'm just saying that, this idea that it's not a memorial or that, their memories are being erased or that there's no acknowledgement that this happened is just not true. That is happening. And there's been millions of dollars poured into that effort. A lot of it wasted, again, due to corruption.
We done things right in the first place.
I did reach out to FDOT. I did not hear back, but according to their memo, FDOT does have the authority to comply with these standards, and they also have the authority to withhold state funding for any agency found in violation of these standards. Reporting live in Orlando, Hannah McKenzie, Fox 35 News.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Hey.
Is what it is, bro. Is what it is. I don't think it's that big of a deal for people to be crying and complaining, but call me crazy. Call me crazy. Tell me what you guys think down in the comment section. Hit the like button, share the video.